And so, all these thoughts are going through my head, like, am I dead? Like, what the heck's going on? And what prayer? It didn't make sense to me. So I take his hand. As soon as I touch his hand, we're instantly standing on what looks like to be a mountain or a hill. I look below me, there's beautiful green grass. It's just perfectly manicured grass. My senses were heightened to the point where I could count every single blade of grass touching the bottom of my feet. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I knew exactly how many blades of grass there were. But everything else around me was white in front of me. Everything was just super white. And I'm looking at my bare feet. I'm looking at his bare feet, standing on this grass, but everything else is white. And I'm kind of like rubbing my eyes, like, why can't I see? Everything's super white. And then off to like my right, just a little bit to my right, there's this round light. It looks like it's basketball shape, like size, but it's way off in the distance. And it's whiter than the rest of the white. It's almost like shimmering. It's like a light bulb, but it's just glowing, and it's just, it's amazing looking. And then all of a sudden, out of this round light, it starts shooting these things that look like fluorescent light tubes, but they're about 2 feet long. They're a little bit fatter than a fluorescent tube. They're all smooth, and they're kind of shimmering the same color as that round light. And they start coming by me, and I can see them going through the white. It almost looks like fog, like super thick fog. And I can see them one after another after another. Pretty soon they start coming a little bit faster. One of them starts coming at my head, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, should I duck? And while I'm thinking of that, it just hits me right here, right above my right eye. And as it goes through my head, it makes this like light buzzing sound. And it warmed me all the way down to my toes. Like instantly, I just felt warmth. I look back at the basketball-sized light, the shimmering, glowing light. And now it's like somebody took a curtain, like a giant curtain on a stage, and pulls it from my right to my left. And so this white is now replaced by a beautiful scenery. And I look below me, now I can see the grass. Below the grass, down this hill, I realize I'm standing on a mountain, pretty good sized mountain. There are like these beautiful little flowers. They look like sweet peas, but they're pastel colors. There's purples and blues and greens and some oranges and pinks. They're just beautiful, and they're kind of doing this. They're kind of like they're being blown by a soft wind, but there's no wind. I don't feel any wind. So it's almost like they were dancing. At the bottom of the flower hill, there's a great big city. But the only thing I can see of the city, because this curtain of fog that was pulled in front of me is now laying on top of the city. So I see these buildings. The roofs are sticking through the fog, but all I can see is the roofs. So right about in the middle, there's this great big gold, it looks like a Capitol dome, and it's huge. It's just huge, way bigger than the rest of the buildings. There are some other Capitol looking buildings. They're smaller. Some of them are gold. Some of them are white. And then there's also these what looks like to be church steeples, and most of them are white. And they're sticking through this cloud layer, or this fog layer. Something I thought that was a little unusual. I kind of looked into it later. But the top of those, at the top of the church steeples that we see around here, and I'm in the South, so they're everywhere. There's a lot of old churches. They all have crosses at the top, but there were no crosses on the top of these, which I thought was kind of strange. And then on the other side of the city, there's another great big mountain, and it's covered in these pine trees, but the pine trees are perfect shape. They're a beautiful green. They have these like dainty pine needles on them. They're sort of moving a little bit, but not as much as the flowers are in front of me. And then above that, it looks like the most beautiful sunset that I've ever seen, but there was no sun. So above the trees, there's like reds and oranges and yellows. And then above that, it kind of blends into these greenish blue, and then there's very bright blue at the top. And there's some kind of like white clouds, but not billowy clouds. They're just sort of, I don't know, I think down here we call them cirrus clouds. They're sort of long and skinny and wispy looking. Now these light beams that were coming at me are now going across the city, and one of them hits the tip of a tree, and it's like it had a diamond on the tip, because when that light beam hit that diamond on the tip, it burst into hundreds of tiny little white light beams. It was like fireworks, but they were all white, just this brilliant shimmering white. And pretty soon there's more of them hitting the tips of the trees, and there's just like pops of this white going everywhere. It's like there's a bright white fireworks show. I mean, there's no popping or sound. It's just like boom, 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 all over. And the sky's just filled with this light everywhere. I look back at the source where they were coming from, that basketball-shaped sized light. My knees got weak and I fell to the ground on my knees. And the instant my knees hit the ground, they shocked me and they brought me back. I don't fear death. I've kind of described death this way. Death is like moving. I'm not looking forward to the process, but I'm excited about the destination.